What's up guys, Mr. SLIN here, and it's been a long time since I made my last video. I took the last 3 weeks off to not play any TF2. I've been playing only World of Warcraft. Then I went to Hawaii for a week for vacation and I just got back. So it's been a long time and it gave me a lot of time to think about like what do I want to make for a video, what kind of video series I want to make. And while I was on vacation, I spent a lot of time watching like Thorin and also like Preacher, who's like a World of Warcraft YouTuber, and I really like that kind of style of video where they're just talking to the camera about some idea that they have. And I thought, why don't I try and do something very similar? I think one of the things that I've always struggled with as a YouTuber is trying to edit the game footage together with my voice. And I started as a streamer, so I feel like it's much more comfortable for me to talk to the camera and not have to do all the video editing. So I figured I'd keep it simple, just have my face cam and talk to you guys. The topic I want to talk about today is sort of understanding the sniper's role in competitive TF2. I know a lot of you guys out there are casual players. Hopefully this applies to you a bit as well. But I think the sniper is a very interesting class in TF2 because there's no other class in the game that is simultaneously the best class in the game and the worst class in the game at the same time. I think in skilled hands with the right player playing sniper, it's the most deadly class on the field. It has unlimited range. You can kill anybody at short range or from completely across the field. So it's just a very, very deadly class. The problem is it's such a difficult class to play. You got to be aiming for headshots. You got to be hitting your shots. And if you're not hitting over like 50% of your shots, it's almost not worth it to play sniper at a high level of the game. So while sniper can be very deadly, it's also a terrible class to play, and that's why you see at the highest levels of TF2, most people are not playing snipers that often unless the game sort of stalemates out. So I kind of want to take a look at the pros and cons of sniper, kind of understand when you would want to run a sniper and when it's not a good idea to run a sniper, and then kind of give you my ideas for what's going to happen to the future of the class. So I think sniper's in a very weird spot right now where it's designed as a long-range pick class. It's designed as a class that is supposed to just one-shot kill things. The difference between playing sniper and spy is that spy requires like no aim at all to get that one-shot kill. All you have to be is in the right place at the right time with the person's back turned to you. You click as a spy and the guy instantly dies. You can click anywhere on their player model and they're gonna die, right? Whereas if you play sniper, there's like a very specific spot you have to hit. It's this tiny little head. And even if you're like a Counter-Strike player or an FPS god, you're going to have a hard time hitting that head a lot of the time, especially if the player is airborne or just, they have really good movement and dodging and the weaving. It's very difficult to play sniper at that high level and be consistently hitting those headshots. But one of the players in the game that influenced a lot of the way that I think when I pay attention to what he said was Clockwork. Clockwork, one of the best snipers to ever play the game, would say that like a good sniper is the best class on the field. A lot of times you'd see him running sniper on like Gully Wash, for example, which is traditionally a slower map, or maybe even a map like Process where it's a very long sightline. And even in some of his matches, if you go back and look back, he was playing like full-time sniper on a map like Snakewater, for example. So I feel like sniper has an insane amount of potential, but if you're a casual player watching this video, you already know that it's very difficult to play sniper. I think when you look at like the design of the class, it's got this long range tool, and then the other weapons that you can equip there are like the SMG, for example. Not really going to do anything for you at short range. Anytime you're going to pull out the SMG, it feels like you might as well be playing a different class instead. If I'm going to use the SMG, why not have a heavy there? Who's going to like destroy at close range combat? Or obviously the answer would be a scout. You got that scatter gun, close range combat. You're gonna destroy anyone else that in a situation where you'd want to use the SMG. So a lot of times you'll see these high level snipers choosing to not run an SMG at all and instead go for some sort of utility that will you're kind of just forgoing the whole short range aspect of the sniper at all, and you're just saying like, if there's a situation where I'm in close range with somebody, I'm dead anyways, so there's no point in even using the SMG. I'm instead going to go for the Cozy Camper or the Darwin's Danger Shield. These sort of passive bonus items that give you benefit when you're sniping at long range. I think the really nice part about the Darwin's Danger Shield right now is that it gives you a flat health bonus, which not only is good when you're counter sniping, but also if you get buffed by your medic, then it makes it a lot more difficult to counter snipe you because you have to get a charged headshot to get that one-shot kill. Of course, the Darwin's Danger Shield banned in competitive play right now, so we could look at the Cozy Camper as an alternative as well, and that one just sort of like stabilizes your shooting, which is a nice passive benefit. I think those kinds of items make sense. But if I look at sort of like why don't you see more snipers in the game in general, why aren't teams running more sniper compositions, it kind of has to do with this whole situation of like the Scout's the best class in the game right now. Scout, it feels like Scout can do everything. It feels like Scout is not only good at controlling large amounts of area, like when he's in those large environments, he can just dodge around. It's impossible to hit him from a projectile class's perspective. If you're playing Soldier, if you're playing Demo Man, you're gonna have a really hard time hitting that Scout. And then he's also super deadly at close range as well. So if you're gonna swap out a class for Sniper, you're probably gonna have to swap out your roaming Soldier. And I think that in those situations where you're swapping out the roaming Soldier, sure, you have this like hard-hitting Sniper class that's gonna pound you to the ground if you're hitting those 150 damage body shots or those headshots, but you don't have that sort of area control that you need. And that's what Soldier brings to the table that Scout doesn't bring to the table, is that even though Scout can deal damage and control large amounts of area, it has a very difficult time controlling those choke points because it has such a small health pool. So it's almost like you don't even want to switch your roaming Soldier over to Sniper, because then you lose your ability to hold the flank. You lose the ability to deny choke points. And then you also lose that class that you need to sort of bomb in and force a medic if you need to. I think Sniper is a decent class at forcing Ubers, but if the enemy medic is playing correctly, he can just line of sight you and make it really difficult for you to do your job as a sniper and sort of force that Uber early. And so a lot of times you get pushed out of positions as a sniper that you're trying to hold this angle to get a force. You're just going to get pushed out. So I'm kind of looking at this sort of situation where Sniper really is only good at long range damage dealing. He can do consistent damage output. That's something that Sniper's really good at. So if you play him on a map like Viaduct, for example, where there's constant fighting, you're sitting in a safe area up far away from the close quarter combat, the front line. You could be doing like 50 damage shots just over and over again, and then occasionally hitting those 150 damage headshots that really punish the enemy team. That's very, very powerful. I think that consistent damage output that you can get from a sniper can beat a Demo Man, can beat a Soldier, or even beat a Scout. So it's really nice to have that, and that sort of long range area denial. It's almost like the Sniper fulfills the same role as a Scout in that sense, whereas like you can control this large area, no one can really peek you as long as you're hitting your shot, right? If you're not hitting your shot, the whole conversation's moot. It's like if the enemy team doesn't fear you at all, they're just going to push you. They're just going to bank on you missing your shot, and you're completely worthless to the team. And that's what I mean when I said earlier in the conversation that the Sniper is simultaneously super, super powerful and at the same time totally, totally worthless. So the nice part about running a Sniper, the nice times to run a Sniper, or the situations where you'd want to use him, is when you're tucked away, guaranteeing that nobody is going to be able to put pressure on you. And if you look at the way that you're supposed to play Sniper, the idea is you want to stand as far back as possible while still having the line of sight that you need to hit shots on the enemy. Obviously, if you're too close, you're just going to get destroyed at close range combat because you only have one shot, and then if you miss it, which is very difficult to do at close range, you're dead. If you're too far away, you're not going to have the line of sight that you need to find that angle on the person's head. So what you're really going to want to do is, peak different choke points, and you need your teammates there to help lock down that choke point, to overcome that deficiency that you have as a sniper, to cover that close range area while you're just sitting back taking shots. I think it's really difficult for the sniper to find a place in this game until he becomes more consistent. Because if you're not hitting headshots, you're hitting 50 damage body shots. And the problem with 50 damage body shots is that a 300 health soldier is going to take 6 shots to kill. That is way too much time. He's got way too much opportunity to kill you. And so 50 damage body shots isn't really going to cut it. So what the sniper needs is a sort of an in-between. It can't just be all or nothing. It can't just be one-shot kill or nothing. It really needs something that's in the middle there that's sort of like an SMG but stronger. And if you were to give the sniper that stronger SMG, then it would basically make all the other classes obsolete. It would make Scout obsolete, for example, because if sniper mid-range, close-range combat could rival that of Scout or rival that of Heavy or rival that of Pyro, then it just makes those classes completely obsolete, or maybe even Engineer, I guess. It just makes those classes obsolete because not only when you run a sniper, you'll have long-range capabilities and mid-range capabilities and close-range capabilities. That's like way too much. So unfortunately, the sniper is sort of relegated to this role of situational benefits. It's like, if I can lock down all the choke points and if nobody can touch me, then it's a good time to run a sniper. And then you kind of use the sniper as like this wedge. Imagine a door that's closed. You stick this wedge in there and you're kind of just like wedging that door open until it finally bursts open, right? And that's kind of what the sniper is you're at a stalemate. You're at a point where you can't move any further and you need this wedge to break open the next area. You're going to switch to a sniper. You're going to pull your sniper in and sort of, get those angles in and just sort of like slowly find the first person you can see. The enemy team has to line of sight you. They have to hide away. That's going to slowly break open that choke for you and your teammates to sort of walk in and then really get these huge sight lines for the sniper that just seem to take over the entire zone. So if you can just get like one pick as a sniper, that creates a weakness somewhere. You can rotate your sniper to that area, and then suddenly you have these very large, very long sight lines that are just unstoppable. So that's kind of the state of sniper at the high level of play, is that it unfortunately, I feel like if I was Valve and I was designing sniper, I would have to keep it in the sort of all or nothing state in order for the sniper to be what it is. Otherwise, you have this sort of long-range class that isn't one-shot killing, or a short to mid-range class that does more damage that rivals that of the roles that other classes play. And so sniper is never going to be the primary class that you want to run at all times. If you did have a sniper that you wanted to run at all times, so for example, you're playing a very slow game where you need to swap over a sniper, or like take the example of Highlander, or maybe even Sigafu's Cup if you watch that, where you're running the sniper 24/7, where you're running the sniper the entire match, suddenly the match becomes less about getting kills with these sort of close range classes that are kind of like battling back and forth. Now, if a sniper's in the game, you're basically relying fully and completely on the sniper to do all of the heavy lifting. And so I personally feel like when I watch a game like that where sniper's in there all the time, it just becomes very boring because it's just a very binary game. It's like, does the sniper hit his shot? Yes or no. If the sniper misses his shot, then you wait for the next shot. If he hits his shot, then the team is winning and now you're sort of moving forward. I feel like if you play Scout or Soldier, you can't one-shot kill the enemy, so there's a little bit more back and forth exchange of hitting each other before someone dies. And I feel like that's a little bit more interesting, and it's a little bit more forgiving. And the forgiving part is nice for two reasons. One is that, not everyone's perfect, and you might be thinking, well, why don't we reward someone for hitting this really sick, difficult headshot? I mean, at this point, it just becomes whoever practiced sniping more. There's not as much strategy, and it's more comes down to a DM fight of who's gonna hit that shot. And I feel like that's not as it's like if basketball were only free throws. It's like there's no movement back and forth there. It's kind of just like, okay, does he make the free throw or not? And what I would like to see instead is this sort of exchange, right, where we're kind of exchanging blows, and maybe you're hitting one guy down, but the next guy he just comes back from it, and he's really fighting with a vengeance. I'd rather see that sort of exchange rather than just sort of like a very quick, like, is he dead or not? And so, anyways, going back to what I was saying about high level sniper play, once you have these choke points locked down and the sniper is sort of wedging his way in, there's not that many ways you can contest him. You can run a spy, which is very easily spotted, and we saw at the ESEA Invite Finals for this last season, you can run spy as much as you want. At a certain point, the enemy team's going to figure it out and stop you. That's what we saw when Froyotech was going up against EVL Gaming. Yomps was running Spy like all the time. Like it was a best of 3, and there's only 2 maps in that best of 3, but it seemed like Yomps was running Spy like every single time, trying to counter the sniper. And it just became predictable. After the 6th time that you go to Spy, it's like you kind of expect him to go Spy now. You know what he's going to do. So Spy, as the match goes on, becomes less and less of a viable counter to that sniper. So the only real viable options that you have is really to run a counter sniper or to like bomb a roaming soldier in. And bombing roaming soldier in onto the enemy sniper is risky, because if you don't get that kill, suddenly you're down a player and you've kind of given that sniper pick over to the enemy team for them. And so you're forced to run this counter sniper. And so that's why when you watch high level TF2, when they're pushing the last point and they sacrifice a scout in and they run a sniper, it just becomes this sort of like waiting around, waiting for the sniper to hit his shot. And again, that's what I find to be not so enjoyable about TF2. I really enjoy that the mid fights where teams are battling it out. It's sort of like this reverse arm wrestling kind of thing where it's not reverse arm wrestling, reverse tug of war. It's like an arm wrestle, you know? It's like you start here and then you're kind of just trying to push the other guy down or wave to the other side. It's not just like, oh, he's over, you know? And I like watching those mid fights. I like watching those exchanges. Whereas when I watch teams pushing last, or when I watch Highlander, or when I watch Sigafu's Cup, it just became so much about medic heals sniper, gives him 185 or 225 if you're running Darwin's Danger Shield. And then you just sit there on the sniper as a medic. You just tank the sniper until he gets a pick. And everyone else hides from the enemy sniper. And now it just becomes a battle of sniper versus sniper and who's going to hit the shot. And for the defensive team, even if they do hit the shot, even if they do kill the enemy sniper, the one sniper pick, because it's such a weak class, is not enough for you to push out. It's just a very frustrating experience. I feel like sniper's in such a weird spot right now. I really don't know what I would do with sniper. They've actually added a bunch of different weapons to the game that are interesting alternatives to the stock sniper rifle. So you've got a sniper rifle that you don't scope in on, or a sniper rifle that rewards you for consistently it's like a 10% damage boost. What's the Machina? It's like almost like you're just hitting multiple players in a row. They offer some alternatives for the stock sniper rifle. I'm just not stoked about the state of the class in general. That said, if you take the one-shot capabilities away from sniper, if you take the one-shot, one-kill abilities away from sniper, it's not as good anymore. It's not even worth running, right? And you're kind of just homogenizing the classes, because you'd have to buff the close range capabilities of sniper, and then it just becomes very similar to the other classes. Or you make the one-shot abilities even better for sniper, like body shots were killing players, you know, like every single body shot that you made killed a player, and then sniper becomes too powerful, and now everyone's running a sniper, and now everyone's just hiding and line of sighting the entire game. I just the way that the class is balanced right now, the way that TF2 is balanced right now, sniper's always going to be at the situation where it's a very situational choice. It's a very situational pick. And if you're going to bother running it at all, you better be really, really good at the class, because if you're not hitting headshots, it's almost not worth running. At the high levels of competitive play, you could go for fully charged body shots against enemy medics, but obviously it's way better if you can just whip around a corner, quick scope, and headshot a medic down while he's not prepared for that. If you have to fully scope in and slowly work your way around a corner, it's easier for the enemy team to spot you. It's easier for the enemy medic to hide, and it's just a slower game in general. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some insights into sniper, and yeah, it's not a class that I play a lot of. I'm gonna be honest there. When I'm playing competitively, I don't play a lot of sniper because I feel like it's cheesy as hell, and any kills that I get, you could call it skill, but I call it luck. When I get a kill as a sniper, I feel very lucky. I feel like I couldn't replicate or duplicate that performance ever again. And the few times that I do get headshots, it's just like, yeah, that shouldn't have happened. I think I might have just moved my mouse a little bit too far and accidentally gotten a headshot. And it just doesn't feel very consistent for me. So let me know what you guys think about sniper in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.